So today we're going to, I was just going to say, thank you, Jason. This is recorded, so you don't have to worry about taking your notes or anything else. Just enjoy a cup of tea, and we will send the recording of this webinar in the next week or two. So just want to say that we're going to just go over the New Year's Tribute Fund Scheme Tidy Up. Now, that is quite a mouthful of a title. I don't know why they gave me such a long title to pronounce, but there we have it. And I don't know about you guys, but January seems to whip by anyway. The reason why we thought we'd have this is that we had a lot of charities change their brand, their updated logos. They had a bit of a brand refresh on their websites, and quite a few of our partners were getting in contact with us because their bespoke links weren't working. They didn't know where they put the in-memory, the widgets that fell off. So we just thought we'd just do a general tidy up. It wouldn't hurt just to remind people of supporter journeys on the websites. So basically that's what how this session came about. So if we can get going, Jason, I think you're going to do a little poll for us now.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. So we're going to run a poll, which I'm going to try and launch now. So hopefully that has appeared on your screens. And if you can have a go at answering the questions. So as you can see, the questions are: how often do you check your in-memory website pages? And then the next one is: are you able to change the content on your charity's tribute fund and in-memory pages? And thirdly, can you influence how it is promoted on your website? And then finally, how often is the copy refreshed on your charity's tribute fund and in memory pages? So I can see a few people clicking away, so thank you. I'll give it a few more seconds and then I will end the poll and we can see the results. This is exciting. Actually, it might be a good time for me to mention that next week sometime, we will email you about it, but we're having a much loved meet. So we're having a kind of an informal meeting rather than a webinar where we can all get together and go through bits that have been shared today. So that could also be an opportunity for you to ask other charities questions. So we've got, I think 74% of those here have kindly completed the poll. So I'm going to end it and then we should be able to see the results. So if I click share results, can we see that, Jackie? So we've got
Yeah.
55% check their in-memory website pages monthly. Most people can change the content, and most people can influence how it's promoted, which is great. And the copy on the pages is refreshed yearly. So thank you for doing that. And next slide
Great. Yeah.
is
So
over to Jackie.
yeah, so I'm going to just have a little chat about our Advantage partners. So with our Advantage partners, those that are Advantage partners know that you're given a bespoke link that you can add to your website, which will allow supporters to create tributes from your website with the bespoke link. I'm just going to share my screen, and I think it'd be better rather than me waffle on, actually demonstrate a couple of websites that I've chosen where we can do it. So I'm just going to continue with that, share. So hopefully now you can all see my screen. Let me accept those cookies.
Yep, we can see it.
So I'm looking at the I'm looking at the Heart Research UK website, who are a Advantage partner. What I'm going to do, this is their in-memory page, but if I just go back to their home page, I just want to see how easy the journey is to find in memory. So I'm a supporter of Heart Research. I've landed on their website. So it's quite clearly labelled. So we've got in donate, you have options to do in memory, leave a gift in your will, and treasure your heart, which I'd imagine is some sort of memory box idea. But if we click on their in memory page, we come back here. So that was quite easy for your supporters to find what they want to do. So I'm an in-mem donor and I found exactly what I want to do. This is lovely because there's a nice little, it's clearly labelled, and there's a nice little bit of blurb about in-memory donations, and you know, they recognise the fact that these are bereaved people. The donate in memory will take you straight to their just a normal donate page, but then you can see on this in memory page they have got their offerings of everything they do that the supporter can choose from. So we have a creator tribute fund. What I like about this is that they've also offering their supporters the opportunity to download a tribute fund guide. So that's something to think about. Their create bespoke link will be under this button. We'll click through that in a minute. They've also got their bespoke funeral wizard bespoke link that they've put under this one as well. The difference between these is that if your supporter creates their tribute through the funeral collection wizard, it will just capture a few more details about the funeral, like the date, the location, and it pulls that information through onto the actual homepage. So both give the supporter a route to create a tribute fund. If they do it through the funeral collection one, it automatically collects that information. They've then also got fundraise in memory. They have got leave a gift in your will. And then they've got a lovely little touch here where they've actually got personalised picture and contact details of Jess, who's obviously the in-mem person for Heart Research UK. What I really love about that is that not only for supporters knowing who they need to contact, but if your internal colleagues don't often deal with in-mem, or their roles don't need to know that, you know, you even have a tribute scheme on your own website, as long as they're aware that where they are on the website, they'll also know who to contact if they've ever got a person that they need to pass over. So it's great for your supporters, but don't forget internally, sometimes it's nice to sort of educate your colleagues that, you know, we do have in memory giving, we have got tribute scheme, and this is where you find it. So create a tribute fund here. So let's just click through to what they've done. Oh yes, so they have a little bit of blurb here as well about all what tribute funds is. They've also embedded the Much Love testimonial video, which you're all more than welcome to add to your websites. It just gives them a little bit of background to why they've created a tribute fund. And a lot of Advantage partners do like to add it to the website because they like to know that there's a backup, that they can tell their supporters that the platform is actually where they create their tribute is Much Loved. However, you don't have to mention Much Loved. They have quite a bit here because it is your tribute scheme. Your supporters won't know Much Loved. The connection is with your charity, not with Much Loved, but you have options. So they do lots of nice FAQs, and again, Jess appears here, which is lovely. Yeah, so we can go. What I like about, let's have a look at another one. So let's have a look at Papyrus. Where have they gone? So there is another one I was going to try you, but they've seemed to have disappeared. But an option you could have done here as well is with on their little memory walls here, you could have added a memory wall for like dedication pages. So you could have just literally had your dedication memory wall, so that it was another offering that you could have given to your supporters. I think when Jason demonstrates in a minute, he will show you a page which one of our Optimum partners are doing, but you can add that as well onto the page, so all your offerings are on your in-memory page. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of the layout and what you can do. So if we go back over to you, Jason, you can chat about the Optimum and maybe show that dedication.
Jackie, yeah, thanks. So Optimum partners have a slightly different integration. So they have widgets. So Jackie has showed you, wizards that are basically made up of a URL. Optimum Partners have widgets. So I'll walk you through those widgets. We've created this dummy website, and on this we've got create a tribute widget. So please do, if you're an Optimum partner, and the same if you're an Advantage partner, check that your links are working, check that your widgets are working. So this is the create attribute widget, and I'll just show you. So I'll pop in my late granddad's name here, and then click next, and then pop in my email address and agree to the terms and conditions, and then I'll receive an email. So just check that that works. You've also got find in existing, so this is the search widget. Uh, Again, check that that's working for you. And we've also got this brand new widget, which we've called the Hero widget. And if you're interested in this, please be in touch with your account manager. This widget highlights an individual tribute. And then when you click on it, it's currently opening up onto a widget which we call the tribute details page. It could potentially open up to directly to the tribute. So yeah, this is the hero widget, and to make a donation, you click make a donation. So I've covered this new widget, and I've showed you behind it the tribute details widget. This widget at the bottom is the tribute listings widget, so it's showing a collection of tributes that are supporting you. So I'm going to go back to the home page now, and I'm going to show you the funeral collection widget. Now, this is a bit confusing. This widget creates a tribute page, so it's creating the same thing. However, the funeral collection widget asks for a bit more information. So it's asking for the funeral details, and I'll show you what it looks like. So the page at the end of it will have uh, the funeral details in the page. So I'm going to make this up. And then you click next. So it's very similar. Agree to the terms and conditions, and then press next, and I get an email. The other day, I was having a nosy at a hospice's website, and they don't yet have a funeral collection page, but there was a case study about that mentioned someone's funeral, and it would have been super for this widget to appear there. And one thing that jumped out to me was actually, from a stewardship point of view, you're going to get an alert when a funeral collection is created. But actually on the page itself, on the landing page, you could suggest to supporters to include the URL for the tribute page, or a QR code for that to be included on the back of the printed order of service. So you'd need to steward quite quickly so that you are in contact with the supporter before the funeral. But that's another offering, and you could perhaps even show an example of the back of a printed order of service, a PDF, with the URL or the QR code. We've also got a dedication page that's being linked to. So having a permanent in-memory dedication page is a super idea. So we came up with this. Legacy voiced a piece of research. They found that not everyone wants a tribute page because they can be quite involved, but people want a bit more than simply entering the name of the person who's died in a donate form. So this is kind of a halfway house. So people, the minimum interaction is that they can add a message. They can include a photo if they want to, and then you can set this page for the donations to be compulsory, optional, or off. And this is Dave. And then the other bit of much loved integration is Grief Chat. So Grief Chat is provided by another organization, and Optimum partners have access to Grief Chat, so they can have this Grief chat box via Much Loved, and you'd have 500 interactions per year. So some charities will have it on a specific bereavement support page like this dummy site. Some charities will have it across all of their kind of in-mem offering. And I know of an air ambulance charity, and their healthcare professionals know that Grief Chat exists, and it's part of their kind of bereavement support toolkit. So ask us if you are curious about having Grief Chat, and we can talk you through that a bit more. So normally this will pop up. I've clearly not spoken enough to give it enough time. So this is our dummy site, and I wanted to show you the RSPB. I was thinking earlier, actually, this would be a good thing for you to get a friend involved, someone not in the charity world, and ask them to navigate to your in-memory offering, kind of watch over their shoulder and see how they do it. I think the journey for the RSPB is quite simple, and I love the imagery on this page. Interestingly, and I think this is a super idea, their kind of raw donate functionality links to their memory page. So it's linking to a much loved dedication page. And you can see here some people have added a message, and some people have added a message and a photo. So this is really lovely that they're using a dedication page in this way. Obviously, everything I'm saying is biased, but I really like that. They've got a funeral collections page with their funeral collection widget, and they've also got the search widget on their funeral collection page, which I think is a good idea. And they've also got create a tribute fund through here, and they've also in quite small letters, but you can, if you click on this, it opens up to their tribute garden. So if you're an Optima partner and you'd like to link to your tribute garden, just ask your account manager. You're very welcome to do that. And there are different options as to how you display the tributes, and I'll show you Cornwall Air Ambulances a bit later on. So that is RSPB. There's an option for the supporter to download an in-memory booklet and in-memory pin badges. So my background's funerals, and pin badges are a relatively normal offering when you are discussing printed orders of service. So it's quite often that the principal mourners will each wear a pin badge. So a way of identifying them, a way of creating kind of a shared sense of togetherness. So a way of creating community. So I think in-memory pin badges for charities to offer them is a really good idea. And you've also got an option to contact the in-memory team. So I mentioned briefly Cornwall Air Ambulance, and I wanted to show you their tribute fund offering. So they call theirs the Flying High Tribute Fund, and this is quite neat. They've got their Create a Tribute widget, they've got search widget, they're linking to their tribute garden, and you can see that they're displaying their tribute garden slightly differently. So be in touch with us if you want this, and we can go through all of the options. So they're going to their tribute garden, and they've got a separate page for funeral notices, which I think is a good thing. And you've probably noticed that Grief Chat is popping up on each of those pages, which I quite like. So yeah, Flying High Tribute Funds. So Debbie at Cornwall Air Ambulance is behind this. So Debbie's name is mentioned here. So that's my kind of discussion on widgets. And I know there's probably a lot to get your head around, but if you haven't got your head around it, that's absolutely fine. Just be in touch with us and we will gladly go over it with you. But the main thing really is check that the widgets are working. So quite often I'll go to my charity's websites and the widget has disappeared, and that's not been intentional, it's been accidental, but do go and have a nosy to make sure that it's still there.
Yeah, so just going back to what Jason was saying there about, we have got a lot of functionality that you can add to your websites, whether you're an Advantage or whether you are an Optimum partner. So the journey is going to be the same for your supporters. It's having that clear in memory page and how you, you know, promote in memory that sits with your brand, with the look and feel of your brand, and how we can integrate best to that so that it makes that supporter journey as seamless as possible. So you might find that all the offerings that we've got, like the tribute gardens, won't actually be suitable for your charity, but it's just to let you know they are there. And you know, and if you have got the opportunity to, you know, have more in them offerings to help those supporters, then, you know, like Jason said, just contact us. So the other bits to consider, what are the benefits of having a tribute page? Well, we've already talked on that they are a bereavement tool first and foremost. So they are something for your supporters where they can have a page that's just dedicated only to the person, you know, that their loved one in memory of that one person. And it doesn't always have to be about making a donation or leaving donations. The example I had was a couple of weeks ago when a gentleman on his wife's tribute had just put the daffodils are coming up. He hadn't made a donation or anything, but it was a way that he could leave a message for his wife. So that's helping him get through that grief process. And it shows that the charity's there for that supporter because they're offering their tribute scheme. So it's quite key that, you know, you look after these supporters as well, because the idea of that tribute scheme is that you do want them to visit maybe Christmas anniversaries and get those repeat donations, but it's a very, very soft ask for you. It just really is one aspect of your in memory offerings. We've noticed that over the last couple of years, it always used to be about legacies and leaving a gift in your will, but the in mem space has really grown and developed. So this is just your opportunity of making sure that you've got all the tools that you need to make sure you got those offerings for your supporters. They do help you keep connected to your supporters, that you can start a stewardship journey in the first instance by offering condolences, but that family might really be connected to the cause, and they could become your future fundraising, taking part in all your events and everything. So it's really good idea to keep that connection. Tell them when there's new bits of functionality, like they can add gifts to their tribute. It's a way of keeping in touch. And once tributes are up and running, they tend to look after themselves anyway. So as long as you've got that stewardship journey in place, they actually will look after themselves, and you'll keep that connection with your supporter. And they are a fundraising tool for you, even though you won't be talking in those terms to your supporters. It'll be the bereavement tool. The video, obviously, we won't play it now. We'll play a personal one, I think. This is, you're more than welcome to have. Just get in touch with your account manager and we can send you the link. If we go to the next slide, Jason, I think we've got a... Yes, we have. We've got a St. Francis Hospice. They asked one of their supporters to actually tell their story of why they set up their tribute fund in memory of their mum. And this one really resonates, and it's quite, much more powerful that it's come from somebody who's actually been in that situation for that hospice. So if you want to play the video, it's only a minute or so long.
We just decided to set up a tribute fund for Mum, and we thought it would, be a really nice way for people to donate. Some people we had from all over the world that wouldn't be able to get to the funeral, so that was kind of one of the reasons we wanted to do it. Another reason was we thought it'd be a good way to actually share with people that me and Dad didn't have direct contact with. So Mum had kind of lots of friends on social media herself, and people that we didn't necessarily know how to get hold of. So when we set up the page, we then both shared it on our Facebooks and shared it onto my mum's Facebook page. So that reached a whole different audience of people that we might not have been able to get in contact with. We found it really helpful because we actually put the funeral details on there as well. So again, we were just kind of sending the link to that in text messages. So rather than having to phone a lot of people up and do it over the phone, we put all the details on there. So it was kind of initially. And then it was really nice because we started getting messages from everyone. So it was a chance for people to actually kind of write nice things about Mum and write their messages. And we were really surprised, actually, kind of 5 months after she passed away, people were actually still donating. So one of her old schools she worked at, the donations from all of their Christmas cards went on there. One of her friends actually asked not to get Christmas presents and for people to donate to the hospice. So it's really nice for us because even out of the blue, you get a notification on email that actually says, oh, someone's made a donation kind of in memory. It was really easy to set up. I think it was kind of exactly like a charity page. It was 3 or 4 things you had to enter and choose a picture, and then it's there and it never goes down, so we can always use it in the future as well.
Yeah, so the brilliant thing about that video as well, it doesn't just have to be when they're talking about tribute funds. You could share that with colleagues internally as well, so that they understand why supporters want to create a tribute fund. So there's lots of benefits of having a bespoke one like that. It's can go across many channels as well. So it's just an idea worth thinking about. Next slide, please, Jason.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Jackie. Yeah, I was going to talk a bit about infographics. So I really like infographics, and this is one that we put together. I think infographics work really well at quickly communicating what it is. And I'm mindful actually that most people will probably be looking at this from their smartphones. So seeing something visual might be more tempting to pay attention to rather than copy. So I just think there's value in having a think about infographics. I like this one, which is RAnalyze. In fact, I was scrolling through Instagram the other night, and there was an ad that came up for their tribute fund offering, and I really appreciated the journey. So it opens up straight onto the page, and at the top of the page, you've got their video, which works really well, and then you've got the infographic below it. So you're kind of your heart and mind is very much in it, and then you've got this simple infographic to explain what to do next. This is Hospice of St. Francis's, Northwest Cancer Research, Age UK, and Helen and Douglas House. So they use their infographic to share what it is that you can do rather than how to. So I quite like this. And Jackie pointed out Jess's photo earlier. I really think having a named contact is a valuable opportunity to kind of build or start to build a relationship with your supporter. In the funeral world, it's becoming increasingly the norm to have about us sections on funeral directors' websites so people can see who it is and read a bit about who they're going to be working with, so who's going to be supporting them. And this is kind of the same. Funeral people are passing the baton to you, or you are taking the baton from them, and actually for you to have a bit of a profile image on your website is a good thing. We've got Rachel at Arthur Rank Hospice, and other bits to think about are managing your login. So if someone leaves, please really let us know so that we can make sure that their access is removed. And also, it's important for us to make sure that people who are no longer in your organization are not being sent alerts. And when I'm thinking about alerts, I'm knowing that they exist in 4 places. So we've got your payment alert preferences. So I'd check here that someone who had left wasn't receiving these alerts. So the payment alert, that might be going to your finance person. So that's the first place. The second place is your alert preferences, your general alert preferences. So you can see all of the options here, but just make sure that these are correct. And if you're not signed up to be getting these, then have a nosy and add yourself. And then you've also got alerts in your dedication page partner area. So again, you've got payment alerts, and for each of the dedication pages that you've got set up in settings, you can scroll down and you can see the alert subscriptions here. So make sure that these are set up, or if someone's left, that they are removed. So we've got the alert bit of functionality to have a think about in terms of tidying. And no doubt you will have had a play with the new reporting. So remember that you can set the reports, all of the reports, to be sent to you on daily, weekly, or monthly. So have a think about whether you want to use that, because it might save you having to remember to go in and download the reporting. Dedication pages, which we've both mentioned, we've got, there's a webinar that Jackie and I did recently that's in our charity support area. So to get to that, what you need to do, that's the postman and the dog getting excited. So from our, shush, in our training and support section, if you search dedication, then you can see that webinar that Jackie and I did. So recommend that. And there's a PDF here as well. So it shows you what you can do. And the PDF suggests ways of using dedication pages throughout the year. So it gives you a bit of a schedule. Yeah, and I've mentioned that here. I don't know if you can hear the dogs. There's 2 of them. They're in stereo.
Okay, so just finally then, it's just really about the stewardship. So we've touched base on where your supporters might find about your tribute offerings, or any of your in-memory offerings, but also it's really key that you make your colleagues aware that you have a tribute scheme. Any bits, visual bits like those videos that you can share with them all helps them understand and get it in quite quick, you know, what a tribute fund is. So what about your leaflets? We've got lots of examples that are in the Much Loved Google group that our partners have kindly shared with us over the last year. So if you do need any examples, just get in touch with your account manager. If you're not part of the Much Loved Google group and want to be, just let us know and we'll add you, and you can be part of the conversations just where they share ideas and insights. And what's worked, what hasn't worked. The in-mem donor thank you, this is quite an obvious one, and I know probably most of you will do it, but if you're not responsible, or you've got a supporter care team that send out those sort of communications, if they can include a little paragraph about tribute funds, you know, that in-mem donation. If you'd like to know about our tribute fund, we can add those donations to the tribute fund, so the family and friends can see everything in one place. It's a nice way of being joined up, and again offering your supporter another place of sort of comfort or to remember their loved one. And then also, because there are so many in-mem opportunities now and touch points, it's just that how can you be joined up? So when you're looking at your planning and joining up, you know, can you share a story of one of your supporters who've created a tribute fund in another in-mem communication? It's just the little touch points of to keep all your charity joined up, you know, and hopefully, you know, help them on that bereavement journey. So the other thing we've got a couple of very short e-learning videos that you can share with your colleagues, which actually explains what a tribute fund is. And if you want to ask them to watch that, they can also have the opportunity to win a bottle of champagne. So it's worth just entering them. They're literally about, you know, 2 minutes long, both of them, and it just gives them the information they need, and then they can enter that bottle of champagne, which obviously if they win they're going to share with you guys as well. So I think, Jason, if you can put that in the question and answer box, or we can send that out afterwards, it might not fit in there.
Yeah, I think the links that we mentioned we'll send out when we send the recording, so we'll be sure to include.
Yeah, so Claire's asked for the link, so yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll add the link when we send out the recording so that you've got everything in one place. So is there any other questions and answering? I mean, I think the key takeouts is to check the links on your website, check that it is as clear as possible, maybe ask a colleague who's not in, you know, is in another part of the charity to see if they can find where your in-mem offering is. Does it make sense? Because we all know, we work with it daily, it becomes second nature to us. But think of that supporter journey, and then internally, do your colleagues know that on your website you're offering in memory? You know, we often get queries from charities asking us questions. They didn't even realise that their charity was a partner with us. So it's definitely worth always keeping that, and check the links are still working for your supporter. Go through the supporter journey of how they would click through and create their tribute, because at least then if you do get any queries, you do know how it works because you've done the journey yourself. So I think they're the basic questions, but has anybody else got any more? So you watch those e-learning videos and you couldn't find where to apply. Well, I'm going to send you the link again, John. It's definitely there. So don't you worry. Yeah. So I think most people. Yeah. So, well, we'll let you get on with your day then, everybody. I hope you found that interesting. But if you have got any questions or need any tips or help when talking to your digital people, please just drop your account manager a line or something, because we've got plenty of tools to help you really get the best out of your tribute service.